It's like, hi, this is a recording.
You ain't say that you had beef with blue cheese?
And welcome to Beef with Blue Cheese. I don't know what episode this is. It's 8. Got to be 8.
It's 8. Yeah,
9,
we're going 8. It's
going
technically 9, 8.
Right. Well, the intro
albums,
I'm not counting. Yeah,
intro doesn't count. Yeah.
Okay. This is the Notorious BIG Ready to Die album podcast.
Yeah.
I never know what to say. I never know what to say. Notorious B.I.G. is so wordy, so it's always Biggie. And
Yeah,
I just
Biggie.
feel like, every time I reference him, I feel like I say Biggie.
Yeah, I mean, he's got too many names. You got Big Papa, Notorious B.I.G., Biggie Smalls. I mean,
it's
it's
like
just we're going
marketing.
Biggie. Biggie works for everybody.
Yeah, that should have just been. He should have just changed it. Like
Yeah.
Puff Daddy has changed his name so many times.
Yeah, I mean, I think Biggie had them all at once though. Like it was just
He
was just
did,
all
he
at
did.
once. Puff
Yeah.
Daddy's
Those
changed
were all
them
just
all the
nicknames.
time.
Yeah, Biggie had Puffy had like literal he had to go to a judge and get paperwork done.
Yeah.
I don't think it's on any official paperwork. Actually,
No.
any of
You never
the
know.
P Diddy's and the. What is he right now? What is Puff Daddy?
I think
now?
he's just Diddy.
Just Diddy.
Just Diddy.
Yeah, that's the dumbest of them all. So that's good. That's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, Puff Daddy, I mean, that's really not the best.
None of them are good.
No.
Yeah. Sean.
No, none of them are good.
Was
Sean
it
Puffy
ever
Combs.
officially Sean Puffy Combs? Was that ever an official
I mean,
title?
his name's Sean Combs. His nickname Puffy, Sean Puffy Combs. That makes the most sense.
Yeah,
But
right.
Diddy, what the fuck is Diddy? Who's?
Yeah,
I mean,
give it Dwayne the Rock Johnson. That's the best way to handle that.
Yeah.
And you're not when you don't, like. I'm sure Rock had that point in his career where he was like, all right, what am I doing? I can't be billed as the Rock anymore. I'm looking to be a
No.
movie star.
Yeah.
So Dwayne the Rock Johnson, perfect. Boom. You had everything.
yeah, and The Rock is a lot better than Diddy.
Yeah.
It just
especially
is.
when especially when you look like that.
Yeah,
Like,
especially when you actually look like you've been chiseled out of granite.
Yeah. You just look like a rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Diddy kind of looks like a Diddy. I don't know what Diddy is, but I mean, I guess
I don't know. That's what I would call
Looks
like just a
puffy.
song that I was bobbing my head to. That's a nice little ditty.
Yeah, he looks puffy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's in way better shape than I am. He ran a marathon. Any chance to.
I think he gets his hair cut and his beard trim every day.
Is that true
Like,
about him?
Yeah, I think it's every day. His hair cut and his beard trimmed. Just so it's like perfect, exactly the same, no matter when he's on video.
Yeah. That's wild.
I'm completely making that up, I think, but I'm going to roll with
You
it.
feel like you heard that somewhere? I heard that.
You know what I
the
did?
Wayans-
No, I saw that on his show. He had that. Didn't he have that
Oh,
that show where it was like build the group or making of the band or something?
Yeah.
I think that was from that. I vaguely remember.
Biggie strikes me as the type of guy who does a lot of stuff for the camera that isn't legit. Like, I feel like he said that's not true. He just wanted people to think he gets a haircut every day.
Yeah.
Because he wants to look sharp. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that reminds. I heard that the Wayans brothers, or I think it was like, which one is like the younger? Marlon Wayans.
I think Marlon's the youngest. Yeah.
He said that he never wears an outfit more than once. I mean, this was back in the Wayans brothers days. So when he's making. I mean, not that he's not hurting for money by any chance.
I'm sure he's not. Yeah.
White girls are still making
Yeah.
money. I'm sure
He's still getting royalties on white girls
royalties
too.
on white girls.
Yeah.
What did I just? I just watched Bad Trip. Did you watch Bad Trip yet on Netflix?
Who's that? What's his
Eric
face?
Andre.
And I saw I've watched the preview like 4 or 5 times without actually watching it.
Yeah, I recommend it.
Yeah.
It's dumb, and some
Yeah.
parts of it just go way over the top.
Yeah.
But there's a big white girls
Okay.
reference in there. Yeah. So I never saw White Girls, but I can't imagine that's any good.
Yeah, I want to say I have seen it, but I could have just seen like the coming attractions a lot of times.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It's true. All right, so we got Puffy. See, Puffy obviously is he's gonna come up in conversation. He's talking about this album, and he's on the album as a producer. And when you're
2
young
songs.
and when you hear producer,
Yeah.
like you think like he's on the machines. He's making the beats. He's not. He's a producer in the way that a movie producer is a producer.
Yeah,
where
I think
like,
he's the
putting stuff
executive
together.
producer. Yeah, as in like
Yeah.
he bankrolls it. He
Bankrolls
bankrolls
it,
it. He's got
organizes
like
some
final
stuff.
say. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Which
And he did
God, why am I
produce
drawing-
2 songs. So he produced 2 songs
he's
on the album.
Yeah, he's on there
As a
it says,
credit.
like
Yeah.
on a credit. I don't know. if he just paid somebody to have his name.
Maybe he pushed a fader at one point. I don't know.
Something, yeah. Well, he's on there, but there's a couple albums where I noticed that he's like it's like him and Wallace. So it's like there's nobody else in the studio, credited that actually did any production. Which I hear is like Rick Rubin is always like credited as like a great producer. But I didn't watch the documentary on him, but I heard that he kind of doesn't do much like actual music producing either. And I'm speaking way out of school. I've heard this like third hand. But he's kind of like, he just he's like a presence in the room that he'd be like, oh, that's cool. Or this is cool. Yeah, you should, I think about doing this. Like, that's how he produces.
Interesting.
He's just like has a taste that,
Like he kind of has an idea of what it should sound like. And he knows what's good. And he's like, do this and do that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because like he gets credit for like bringing back Johnny Cash. And he did those, those old, But I'm like... I would love to know. And I always have fantasies about being in a studio with like a rapper that I love a lot, or anybody that I love a lot, and getting final call on a song. Yeah. To just be like, no, I don't like that one. Like do that because I'm like, shouldn't you have a fan in the studio to be like, obviously an artist wants to make an art and they're not making it for the fans. But it's like just a perspective. Just can I give you my perspective on the song? It's junk,
Yeah. Yeah, I could do without this one.
Yeah, then get rid of this one. You don't need this on the album.
I think that's what Biggie said about Juicy. I think they made the album, it said, just in the small little research I've done, and I could definitely not be remembering this correctly, but they made the album, and then Puffy's like, we need some singles, just like what always happens. And then he played Juicy for him, and Biggie's like, what the fuck is this?
The beat? You played the beat for Juicy?
Yeah. And he had to convince him to make the song, and obviously that was the first single, and then it actually was not the best performing single. Big Papa was, and that was that was like the Grammy nominated song was Big Papa, not Juicy.
Big Papa. Really?
Yeah.
So there was 3 singles on this because there was One More Chance, but not the album version of One More Chance.
No, it was the other one.
We'll get to. Yeah.
And then there were a couple, like there was copyright issues, so like some of the songs you hear now won't be the same as what they were on the CD that I have.
Yeah, I saw that too. I never knew that. So it's another great thing about this podcast is like I learned stuff about these albums that I don't know if the album that I had was the original one with the original samples. I bought it pretty early on.
I'm pretty sure it was because this wasn't until 2005.
Oh, then yeah. So I don't think I ever know. I don't know what the songs sound like with the samples removed. Yeah. Because even if you go to Apple Music now, it says
samples removed.
Oh, samples. They say.
Yeah, so the one that I have has the samples removed. So I'm listening to it like I wonder what this sounded like originally. So now I got to dig the CD up because I have it somewhere, and I'm like, now I got to listen to this because I don't remember what the sample was that was removed because it's been so long.
If you go to YouTube and you type in original, they have the originals on there.
Okay.
But I was listening. I'm not. Maybe if you knew better with music, had a better ear, you'd pick up on them. I'm listening to them. I'm like, hey, is that it? Is that it? Which one's missing? What's missing?
Yeah, and
like
you never know. I mean,
it
could just be something very small.
Yeah. Well, but then there was another track that years later somebody else tried to sue, and the court was like, no, that's too small of an album. That's like fair use. But yeah, I would love to do like a really A-B, like see if I can pick up on it, but there's so many samples on this whole album.
I went down a rabbit hole once on some of that stuff because there was a big time lawsuit with Katy Perry, and there was like she stole it from somebody. Right. Meanwhile, and then I watched this video of this guy who's actually like a musician and a composer breaking it down. And he's like, well, then if this is something that she stole from him, then he's stolen this from like 75 different classical artists because I can play you something from the 30s or the 1800s that has the same sample. So he was like kind of he was like, I don't know if he was actually part of the lawsuit where he was like the expert witness, like explaining to them like, no, you can't, like there's no way you can sue somebody for this. But yeah, there's a few of those that I went down a really ridiculous rabbit hole with, and I never saw this one. I was surprised. Yeah,
it's fascinating because it's not. Sometimes it's like the song sounds like it. None of these songs sound like the same. Like some of them, like you can hear like you hear the opening and that's definitely that drum. That's but as soon as the whole song comes together, it's like it gets lost in the song, and it's not. And I've part of the musicians are the thing I think about. It's like, all right, well, they deserve to be get paid. Like they did come up with that part. You know, they deserve money for that, but at the same time, it's like, all right, well, this is a completely different song. It doesn't sound anything like the full thing. Doesn't sound anything like. So,
No.
you know, these session musicians get paid for the session. They don't get paid royalties. Like that's the whole point of being a session musician. Is like, you know. So, I don't know. I was actually just listening to a podcast with Open Mike Eagle. I told you about he did a podcast with Prince Paul where they went through every part of his career. And everything like that. So that was season 1. So I thought that was going to be it. So now they're doing a season 2 with LP.
Oh, wow.
So they're going through LP's career. So he started with Company Flow and then started with Def Jux and now with Run the Jewels. So it's only like a couple episodes in. But apparently Company Flow had to start the same things. Like they're not on Apple Music because he was saying like, he goes, I would take me years to get everything cleared that I sampled. He goes, it's like,
Yeah,
you know,
makes sense.
All that was... But they were saying how there should be like a grandfather thing in, be like, all right, everybody was young then, nobody knew the rules. He goes, like, just grandfather that stuff in. All right, going forward, we know we got to clear stuff.
Yeah, I mean, hip hop
like,
was such a
let
new
those classic stuff
genre
in. Yeah.
where like you were sampling things like Nina Simone got sampled countless times.
Yeah, right.
Just so many times, especially by RZA. I mean, a bunch.
Yeah.
And all those songs are on there. So, I mean, there's got to be a way to figure it out where, it's like, just put the stuff on there. We get it. We know you sampled it. It's obviously an original song where we're just sampling. And Puff Daddy was known for that. That's what he did. That's he sampled everybody else's stuff and not necessarily, and maybe he didn't because maybe it was somebody that actually produced the track and maybe it was his idea.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. He gets the, if he wants the credit for producing, then he needs to get some of the blame for, or the attacks on like, hey, you're always known for his sampling. It's like, well, he just signed the check on whatever.
Yeah.
But it was such a new thing, and they didn't, hip hop grew from sampling, but just playing those records and mixing things up. So it's like you had these poor kids that were just trying to make music, trying to be, start their own thing. It's like they didn't know, they didn't care, they didn't have the money to like make their own music. They didn't have the background. No. So it's like, all right, can we acknowledge that hip hop is a valued form of music? Okay.
Yeah, and not only that,
now we have to know where it came from and respect it. Like,
but it's like you're showing appreciation too, because it's stuff that they grew up with. They're listening to these soul singers from the 70s,
right?
And then they're making these. At first started with like break beats, and then they're making. And then when you get into the 90s, you're actually like sampling some of these songs, but it's all stuff like, I mean, RZA talks about it where he just grew up with it in his house. His mother loved Nina Simone, and that's what they were listening to. Yeah. And so you're kind of showing appreciation for that artist by bringing it into the new age or the hip hop genre and kind of glorifying it in a way by giving it the whole chorus in some cases.
It would be good if they somehow gave
credit,
because you can find links, you can find where the things came from, but as a musician, to be like, all right, if you're giving me exposure to a whole new generation of kids, to be like, all right, this is that song, but this part of the song came from this. If because I love, if I can pick out, if I'm listening to a song, I'm like, oh my god, this is the sample from whatever rap song. Like I get turned on to that song. So, give credit.
Well, that was that song.
New fan base.
Yeah, that song I sent you about. Remember EPMD?
Right.
And I saw it play that. That was from the Meters, and I was just listening to some '70s funk stuff, and I'm like,
EPMD,
out of nowhere, I'm like, it was EPMD.
EPMD, yeah, because there was also the Gangstar, the jazz one you sent me too.
The EPMD one was from the Meters, which it was actually from their instrumental album, and I just happened to be listening to some of that funk stuff, and I'm like, out of the blue, I'm like, wow.
Yeah,
this is where that's from, and I actually found them without knowing what the sample was, but now I just have an all new appreciation for them. Like, wow, these guys they were big time, but like just the fact that Eric Sermon wanted to take one of their more famous songs and cut it up was great.
Yeah, those are always fun. There's a website that does like it's a super. Includes like everything on this website that has like every sample that's ever been used. And you put a song in, it shows you all the samples, or you put a song in, it'll show you if it's been sampled. And I don't remember what it is now, but I was on. I was like years and years ago. I was on that. I was just blown away by, like spent like 2 nights just scrolling through, trying to find all that. But a lot of times what'll happen, like if I'm in a store and I'll hear very faintly in the back, I'm like, oh, that's a sample. I'm like, is this that song? And then you realize, oh no, it's a sample of that.
No, that's the original. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, if you stumble across one without actually like researching it, that's fun.
Yeah, I just was so excited for just no reason, but
Yeah, no, it's yeah. You want to feel like you know something. So
yeah,
but so often it is like you said, those break beats. It literally is like not even part of the song. It'll just be like, and then
Yeah.
like the song starts, and like that's not even in the song. Like they just like there'll be be a start of song, and
Yeah.
they'll use that as a sample. I'm like, so really, like that's what you're gonna sue over is like a thing that's not even a part of the song. Anyway.
I love how you just that was a Wilco intro. I think that
It
you
was.
just did.
It's exactly. Yeah, from what Yankee Hotel Foxtrot.
Yeah,
What song
I think
was
that's
that,
what
though?
it was.
Yeah,
Fell in love with a drummer.
yeah. I guess it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess it was. That's so funny. Just beatbox. Yeah, a little Wilco.
Because I'm just singing. Now I'm just singing the first verse in my head, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. All right, so yeah, this is Ready to Die. Some fascinating stuff about this album. So came out in what 94? It says
93, 94 it was recorded. Yeah, it came out September 94.
yeah. So there was some problems. We recorded 3 songs early on,
Yep.
and then I didn't know this either. Puffy was I guess Puffy was what do they call it? A&R. Is that where they go out and like they find music, like new music? Like that was he had that
An
position in
A&R
record
group.
label?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, acquisition and retention.
right. So he found Biggie, he brought him in, they signed him to this. Then Biggie was fired, and then he took him, and then that was how that started. But they recorded 3 songs before the Puffy got the boot. Ready to Die, Machine Gun Funk, and Give Me the Loot
Yep.
were all recorded then, and then Biggie took a break. He went down to, according to Wikipedia, went down to North Carolina and sold
I didn't
some
read
drugs.
that. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
good.
went down to North Carolina, sold some drugs, and came back up and finished the album. And you know,
Interestingly enough, 3 of the best songs on the album, and completely different than what they released as the singles.
well, they said that, and like the critics
and that's
were
probably
like,
what the problem was.
yeah, a lot of people said
Yeah.
like the stuff they recorded after was much more radio friendly, much more commercial sounding. But not like Juicy is a great
Yeah.
it was a great song that wasn't about
What's funny is that they were saying that how he had to be sold on making that song, which is interesting
Yeah,
because it's
it's
not
funny,
like
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not like it's that different.
No,
I mean,
right. Yeah. A couple of things I thought were interesting. When it first came out, Rolling Stone gave it 4.5 mics.
yeah.
And then since then, like they have
Changed
a
it?
different thing. It's like an album guide. And on that, they gave it 5 stars. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I feel like that's revisionist history just because the guy died. Like if it's
Exactly.
4.5 stars, it's that's
Yeah.
a great album. But then they also put it, I think it's number 30 something on their top 500. It's number 22 on their
Billboard
top
22,
500
yeah,
albums
22. Yeah.
of all time. Yeah, on Rolling Stone's top 500 songs of all time, it's number 22. Or was
Yep.
it Billboard?
Rolling Billboard number 22. All the top 500 albums, yeah.
Yeah,
So what's his face will be getting to that album pretty soon, I guess.
yeah. I forget his name even now.
Something I don't know.
That other podcast is doing the same thing we're doing.
No.
Um,
But what's crazy is that it's like 6 times platinum now. So in
Yeah.
like 2015, 6 times. That's just
yeah,
insane. In
Uh-huh.
2018, 6 times platinum. Crazy.
yeah. Yeah, it certainly is. It says Rolling Stones has also given acclaim Ready to Die in 2000. They ranked it number 133. So it's on the Rolling Stones 133.
133, yeah. Billboard
And
22.
So my problem with that is that there's definitely 133 5-star albums that need to go,
Yeah, I
the
mean,
whole- the whole-
Rolling
that whole
Stone's been
list
around forever.
that whole list should be 5-star albums. Like,
Sure.
in my mind, I don't know. I guess 5 stars is a perfect album. There's not,
Yeah.
what do you expect from a perfect album? But it just, to me, feels like since he died, the story, whatever, people give it. And I love this album. I do. I love this album. I just feel like it gets more credit now than it deserves.
Yeah, and specifically, I think the second album gets more credit than it deserves. This album legitimately is, I mean, if you're ranking it in hip hop, especially 90s hip hop,
Yeah,
it's a top
right.
10 album without
Of
a
course.
doubt. I mean, it's
Yeah,
top
but-
to bottom. There's a couple skits that are whatever, but
I wouldn't say
revisionist
I think there's a couple
history.
of- yeah, I think there's a couple of songs that I don't love on it. They're
Yeah.
good. I just don't love them. Like
Yeah.
if they were cut, I'd be happy with it. But yeah, I don't know. I listened to it a ton when I was younger. I don't listen to it as much when I'm older. But it's I'm gonna play the intro where we are a little bit slow. I never listen to this. If I'm listening to the album, I always started.
Never.
I always skip this.
I always
I
start
mean, it's
number
not-
2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need to hear Biggie being born.
Yeah, and then just a bunch of samples of like songs, like I guess
Yeah.
throughout his life, leading him up to where he got, how he got to where he was, his influences and music, I guess.
Yeah. And it really is. I mean, it's a beginning to end. Like, there's closure to the album.
Yeah,
The one the original album that ended with Suicidal Thoughts.
yeah, right. I gotta say we talk about that feeling that we get a lot when we start an album. That it's like this intro doesn't give me any of that.
No
that
feeling.
of like, oh, here we are. Like,
When I hear the first song, yes.
yeah,
But
yeah,
not this at all.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
enough of that.
Now he's playing Curtis Mayfield.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a useless intro. But that's what people did back then.
Yep.
And then into Things Done Changed. Let's see if this works properly.
Back in the days, our parents used to take care of us. Look at them now, they even fucking scared of us. Calling the city for help because they can't maintain. Damn shit done changed.
The
we got a
third verse.
sample.
Yeah, the third verse on this song is probably my favorite verse on the entire album.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it starts at like 2:30, but it's it kind of gets you into the album, his whole storytelling, and it kind
Yeah.
of sets up for what the album's going to be, in my opinion. And he just talks about everything he sees or things that are going on.
Sure. See that in my that's good because that's the way it starts the album. So that's that's fine. But I think a lot of the problem I have with this album is that it's one theme through the whole thing.
It is.
It's guns, it's women, and it's drugs. That's that's like the only thing that he talks about in this whole album. So when people talk about him being the best rapper of all time, I'm like, he rapped about the same thing constantly. This whole album is, riches, making
And then money, and then making money.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
essentially what it is. More than drugs, even is money.
Yeah.
It's, it's sex, drugs, and money is should have been the name of this album. And like he does it well. He's got such a great flow. His voice is so unique, and but it's like that chart that they have, like we've mentioned it before with like the vocabulary, the hip hop,
Yeah.
vocabulary. Yeah, he would be the last person on this.
It would-
on the-
yeah,
on that
he-
list.
what-
It would be.
Yeah, re-listening to this, I didn't realize how much he used MFer as a crutch.
Yeah,
Like that's his crutch. Like that's his
Right.
go-to is MFer.
It's to fill in a syllable,
And it's not
you
just
know,
F, it's MFer. It's every time, too.
Right.
It's every song. It's multiple
Yeah.
times in this song.
right.
And it's, like he has a crutch, which
Yeah,
I don't
And
know if anybody, besides maybe Mr. Eon, but I don't know if anybody that we've covered so far has that crutch besides him.
yeah, yeah. It's and like that's what he knew. That was his life. It was literally his life.
Yeah, it was what he knew. Yeah.
But I don't know. I just feel like the
It
last
doesn't
one, the
automatically
Suicidal
qualify
Thoughts,
you as the best rapper.
Exactly. Yeah, the last song, Suicidal Thoughts, definitely stepped outside that box. There's definitely a vulnerable situation there, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And then the bonus track, Who Shot You? I mean,
Yeah.
and then he just comes right back to it.
Yeah. But there's a ton about guns. It's just it's. I mean, give me the loot. That's what he
Yeah.
wants. Give me the loot. Let's hear what this.
Big up, it's a stick up, and I'm shooting niggas quick if you hiccup. Don't let me throw my clip up in your back and headpiece, the opposite of peace. Sending Mom Duke a reef. You're talking to the robbery expert. Step into your wake with your blood on my shirt. Don't be a jerk and get smoked over being resistant. Cause when I lick shots, the shit is persistent.
I mean, yeah, it's great. That was an easy Mo B. Produced most of this album.
Yep.
Like actually produced most of this album.
Yeah.
Yeah. which he did. I was looking a little bit into him because I don't really know much about him. He did Jizz's first album, well, a lot of Jizz's first album.
Really? That I did not know.
Not Liquid Swords. Words from a Genius.
Yeah,
That one that was like kind of panned a little bit.
That makes sense because he did. Who did he do? Big Daddy Kane. Is that who it was?
Yeah.
Or Slick Rick? Big Daddy Kane.
Yeah, he did a lot of old.
Yeah.
He did a lot of old. He's definitely more of an old school rap producer.
Yeah,
so this was definitely the most current thing that he did. Like
The
up
most
until then,
90s, yeah,
'cause if
the
you
most
listen to the
90s he's done.
Jizzes, you listen to like the Jizza stuff. Like that was an old school hip hop.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that was a late '80s rap album. Yeah, and I like how what's his face? The Trackmasters made an appearance. They were on like every somewhere on every album in the
somewhere, yep.
'90s, and that was on
Yeah.
Juicy. That was so
They did Juicy. Okay.
they did Juicy. Yeah,
And
Juju
yeah, I mean
Premier.
that's a great beat. Yeah, Premier shows up later on, and
Yep.
with actually my least favorite beat on the album.
Exactly. It's strange. Yeah, out
Yeah.
of nowhere. It's like he's
Yeah,
like, yeah.
I don't know if it's my least favorite beat or just it doesn't fit Biggie at all. Like he,
No.
like they just wanted to get him. Like we got to get Premier on the album, but he doesn't do. It doesn't do what Biggie raps over. It's I tried to picture Guru because it's like more really a gangstar beat, and I'm like I feel like if Guru is on this, I might like this a lot more. I don't know. That's that thing we always talk about, like with
J.
Slug.
Rue. Oh yeah,
No,
yeah,
even
yeah.
with Slug
With
is
Slug,
like
yeah.
Slugs. Even a bad beat, you put Slug on it, and it's just I don't know.
It changes it.
I'm just a fanboy. It's like his voice just adds to the beat, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty good.
No, I mean if you had just let's say 5 people sitting and you like played a song and you would be like, okay, listen to this song, you tell me who has the best verse. Regardless, it's always
Yeah.
Slug. Always,
Yeah.
100%
Yeah.
of the time. It's not the 90% of the time. It's 100% of the time.
Yeah, right.
And that's as people who would not even like rap music or who know who he is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just like a transcending type of
But even
talent
just the sound,
when it comes to
even just the sound of his voice over a beat can make the beat sound better.
Exactly.
Again, I'm speaking as a fanboy. I'm definitely, it's
Yeah, I mean, but I say that, but I'm a A$AP Rock fanboy, and I don't think that on every single one of his.
yeah. I don't know. He doesn't. I mean,
There's a
I can't
few.
imagine-
Well,
What-
yeah, I mean, there's a few that I just don't like.
Yeah, right. So this that was one of the songs? No, Machine Gun Funk is
The next one is
and
the
that
one where
was,
they sample. Yeah.
Yeah.
Meet again.
Yeah.
I'm doing rhymes now. Fuck the crimes now. Come on the app. I'm real hard to find now. Cause I'm knee deep in the beat. In the Land Cruiser Jeep with the Mac 10 by the seats. For the jackers, the jealous ass crackers in the I make you prove that it's
Interesting choice there for them to just use a sound effect for the police. I don't know if that was like a legal thing or if they were like just worried about.
I don't know. They said jealous as crackers, and then it went to the police.
Yeah, I like it. I like the way it sounds. Like it's a clever. Like if
It's
that was
very
just an
clever.
idea to use that as if it fits perfect. Anytime you use a sound or something like that instead of a word,
Yeah.
I'm on board for it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably one of the more laid back beats, and I enjoy that a lot, especially him rapping over that. You wouldn't think it's like his kind of beat, but it like he almost adapts to the beat where he can kind of change his style a little bit. It's not as aggressive, and it works real well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely his style in that it's got like kind of a hard snare. A lot of his stuff,
Yep.
But yeah, it's definitely more chill, more laid back, and the fact that it's called Machine Gun Funk,
Yeah.
is like doesn't match the
Talks about the Mac 10.
Yeah, smooth flow of this beat, but this is Warning.
Who the fuck is this? Paging me at 5:46 in the morning. Crack of dawning, now I'm yawning. Wipe the cold out my eye. See who's this paging me and why? It's my nigga Pop from the barber shop. Told me he was in the gambling spot and heard the intricate plot. A niggas wanna stick me like fly paper, neighbor. Slow down, love, please chill, drop the paper.
It was hard to stop that because I love when he goes into the multiple characters.
Yeah.
But like, you can't just play the whole song. But
Yeah.
to me, the beginning of that song is one of the more iconic beginnings of the song on this album.
Yeah, because of the pager and just
The
how he
pager,
kind of goes
and it's
right
just
from
like-
that into the verse.
Yeah, you're instantly hooked to be like, he's talking. There's something's happening right now, and you're talking about it. So, But yeah, when he's on the phone, I love again something like I love being in the studio. Be like, oh, we should have this guy. Like we can feed this through a filter, make it sound like you're on the phone. Awesome.
Yeah, and he did that on Give Me the Loot too. So the duel the characters back and forth on Give Me the Loot.
Yeah.
He does that a couple times.
Yeah, it's not a completely original idea. I mean, other people have done it, but yeah, I just like when it definitely paints more of a
and he's
picture.
like trying to do different voices.
Yeah.
And then ironically enough,
we the cash yet. When he does like that, yeah.
And then it's funny enough, and then like Supernatural does his voice along with Supernat in that battle after Biggie. I mean, it's just
that's right.
Find it interesting.
Yeah, that's worth looking up. I mean, anything Supernatural does.
Yeah.
This is another one with the sample. Another one with the sample removed.
Yeah,
I drop lyrics off and on like a light switch. Quick to grab the right bitch and make her drive the Q. 45 blocks and texts are expected when I wreck shit. Respect is collected, so check it. I got techniques dripping out my butt cheeks. Sleep on my stomach so I don't fuck up my sheets.
That's right. One of the best lines.
One of the best lines in hip hop ever. Not just the album.
Nobody could save me. Fuck the world, fuck my moms and my girl. My life is played out like a Jerry curl. I'm ready to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Did we play another reference to a Jerry curl on another
Yes, I was just
album?
going to say that. We were talking about the Jerry curl. That was
something
was
about
Ruck.
being played out too.
No,
yeah,
it was Ruck.
And also about it being played out, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that
that's
was what was it? The afro.
Oh,
It was talking about an afro.
Okay, so
like that was played out like leather jackets
Right.
with them tassels. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So slightly racist on my part.
Not really. I mean, they're talking about haircuts.
Yeah. To me, it's. I guess Jerry curl was slightly before or after the afro. I don't know. I don't know my.
I think the Jerry curl was after the. I think the
Yeah,
Jerry curl was more 80s because
yeah,
that was like Michael Jackson,
yeah.
Lionel Richie.
Yeah, you're right about
like
that.
Lionel
Yeah.
Richie had a hell of a Jerry curl.
Yeah.
I mean,
and an afro before.
That
I guess
thing,
he had the afro
that thing.
before that,
Yeah,
then
he
had the Jerry
definitely went
curl.
through and that thing was
Yeah.
greasy.
I got techniques dripping from my butt cheeks. Sleep on my stomach, my sheets. Great.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely knows how to use the words that he has.
Yeah,
he
his
knows how to use
wordplay
them.
his
Yeah.
wordplay is
Yeah.
definitely top notch.
Yeah. All right, so this is the album version. What's that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, no. Go ahead.
Wow, I'm interested. There was something.
I was skipping ahead.
I wanted to say, so he shouts out the Q45, and I know Nas has done that, and like in the Infinities in the
Big.
90s were a much bigger
Massive.
car than they are today. Like they don't get the credit now, but in the rap game, the Infinity was the brand to go with. I mean, it was Lexus and Infinities. Like they didn't. I mean, was it like they didn't even set their goals? Like they couldn't set their eyes on a Mercedes, or because they got shouted out occasionally. Lexus
sure.
Beamers and the Benz.
Yeah.
They definitely got shouted out.
But the Infinite was always
Q45 Infinite,
Yeah.
I push a Q45 Infinite.
Yeah,
And
I mean, what is it? What's an Infinity? Toyota? Like it's just a glorified
Is it
Toyota
ju-
or
yeah, it
something
is,
like
right?
that?
Is it?
Yeah. It's
No,
one
that's
of them.
Lexus. Lexus is Toyota.
It's Toyota, maybe
Infinity,
Honda.
I think it's Nissan. Maybe
Nissan, maybe Nissan. Yeah,
yeah.
Nissan. That makes sense. Yeah,
maybe a Nissan. Yeah, one of them. Yeah, but
it's just
not,
a Nissan with a new emblem.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so is Porsche is just a Volkswagen company, and
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah, they have Volkswagen has Audi and Porsche. That's like the But I tell you, Volkswagens drive like a dream. I hope anyway. I hope it makes it to North Carolina.
Their stock made me a bunch of cash in the past 2 months. So
Is that right?
it went up
because
a
they
ton.
announced they announced like a fake false April Fool's thing. You heard that?
Yeah.
They announced they were going to go electric
Yep.
for an April
And
Fool's joke.
it's sustained. It went up like 20 something bucks in like 3 days, and,
I
it
guess people
stayed
got-
there.
So people heard the news that they were going electric, and then they didn't hear the news there was a joke.
Yeah.
Perfect. Companies, that's good. Companies should take a note of that. Just saying, like,
Yeah.
oh, we were joking. You guys, and then like super low key release
Yeah.
the, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the album version of One More Chance.
around and hit you with the Hennessy dick. Mess around and go blind, don't get to see shit. The next batter, here to shatter your blatter. It doesn't matter, skinny or fat or light skinned or black, baby. I drop these. Boniqua mommy screaming, I poppy. I love it when they call me Big Pop, but I only smoke blunts if they roll prop. But look, I got ya caught up with the drunk flow, fuck taekwondo.
Yeah. So that was produced by the Blues Brothers. Well, there's multiple credits on there, but one of them, I'm like, you can't just call yourself the Blues Brothers and throw a Z on the end of it. And
No,
like,
and all of a sudden you're somebody new.
there's somebody else. There's a gentleman named the Blues Brothers.
And
then,
Chucky Thompson.
Chucky Thompson. And then
I mean,
Combs, throws his name on the end of it.
Chucky Thompson.
That guy was like not in.
Just because you don't want to be Charles Thompson on a rap album, so you're Chucky Thompson.
So I went ahead and I got the radio
single
version of that too, because to me that's the radio version, the single they put out is way better. I don't really even love that version. One More Chance was like a party. That was like
but this one, it was like made on, not to knock Fruity Loops because Ninth Wonder made a career off of that, but like it sounds like it was made on Fruity Loops, like a desktop.
Which
like
one? The radio one?
No, the one on the album.
That one, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it was made with like a MIDI keyboard on like a cheap ass computer.
It does have that sound. Yeah, now that you say it, sure. But I mean, this one's so much fuller. And
with the junior mafia, I don't know what the hell's stopping ya. I'm clocking ya, Versace shade watching ya. Once you grin, I'm in, game begin. First I talk about how I dress is this and diamond necklaces, stretch Lexuses.
and more just cars, jewelry, money. It's like
deeper and deeper, help you reach the climax that
Sex.
your man can't make. Call him, tell him you be home real late and sing the break. I got that good love, girl. You didn't know.
And I don't know if they took a playbook out of the Method Man, the Cal thing, where it was
Very
like,
possible.
I'll Be There For You, where there was like, all right, an album version, which is much simpler, and then have the R&B. We need a hit. Let's turn this song, because that song, other than the words "One More Chance," is nothing like the other version of the song. I mean, he talks about women.
Yeah.
But
what makes no sense though is that it was the last single too. So
right.
it wasn't
You
even
figured
like
they didn't need to do that. They had singles they didn't need to like change.
And
the
I
song.
think they could have used some of the other ones. I mean, they could have used some another song in there.
So did somebody have
as a single?
Did somebody have an idea? It was like, I like this one idea of a song. What if we have Faith Evans singing on there? I don't understand how that comes to be, but
were they involved at that point? Like, was that at a point in time where maybe
but even so, it's like, okay, make a whole brand new song with a new title.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a chorus that's One More Chance. Just come up
and
with
make some money off of that without putting it on an album. Like,
exactly.
Do something separate. Yeah.
And there was the sketch.
Yeah, we don't need to listen to that.
I'm 1,000 years old. The skit. Yeah, that's when I was a kid, that was fun. It was like, ooh, there's sex. People having sex, and then also I don't know how Faith Evans, because I was Little Kim in the sketch in the skit, right? Like, so I don't know if Faith Evans would be super into that.
No, this might have been pre Faith Evans.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it must have been. He wasn't.
Yeah, this was '93.
Yeah, pre. This album being recorded, he was not pulling Faith Evans.
No.
So we got The What featuring Method Man, which we always refer to. It's like much. I love Method Man, and the only feature on this whole album, the only person that Biggie was like, that dude, I gotta have that dude on my album.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. I just I was such a big fan of Method Man when this came out, and I was like, so you see it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just the appreciation from your peers, to the point where I'm not going to have anybody else on this album except for you. Like, and that's how big of a deal this is. And it's going to be a phenomenal song on top of that.
Right, exactly. But like, think about all the people who he could have asked to be on this album.
Exactly. I mean, 94.
Like,
and
anybody. They could have gotten anybody. He could have asked, and he could have gotten anybody on this album. But he was like, "No, that's my dude right there."
Yep.
And not a great fit on paper. Like, Method Man is definitely grungier, he's grimier, he's like, doesn't, but let's play it.
Bitches are like I'm brainless, guns are like I'm stainless steel. I want the fucking fortune like the wheel. I squeeze gats till my clips is empty. Don't tempt me. You don't want the
Here I am, I'll be damned if this ain't some shit. Time to spread the butter lyrics over harmony grit. It's the new killer death trap. Yes, I'm a jet black ninja. Coming where you rest at, surrender. Step inside the ring, you.
I literally just let that whole, I could let that whole part.
So
let me say,
I know exactly what you're going to say. Go ahead.
No, I don't we'll go what I don't know because I don't know.
okay.
I don't know what I was gonna say.
Okay, I was gonna say you were gonna say I like how they blend the two.
Yes.
So his
I
rhyme
was gonna say
goes
that, I wasn't
into
what I was
it.
gonna say just then, but I was gonna say that when I first started. I
Okay.
want to talk over.
Yeah,
it.
so like he's kind of rhyming the same type of word when Method Man starts
Yeah.
his verse. The
Yeah.
words rhyme and it fits perfect. Like whoever's idea, like
Yeah.
if this is like Easy Mo B, I don't know who he is. I don't know what he's done ever since. But the fact that he's not more popular
Right.
based upon half the songs that he produced on this album,
Yeah.
like he wasn't more sought after. What are people thinking? Either that or this is
Yeah.
like a one and done for him. Like he's like, this is all I got. And he had nothing after that because, I mean, this is arguably one of the better beats, just a classic hip hop beat.
Simple.
Yeah,
but
very
smooth,
simple.
very slow and not like it's it's not one of those hype songs, but
No, and you hear the beat and you're like, okay, yeah, Method Man's on this song. Like you can tell
yeah.
that Method Man's on.
Yeah,
this
but I love that.
song.
I mean,
Yeah.
M-E-T. Like,
Yep.
he vamps up. It's his
Yep.
it's his signature. Spelling out my name. Mm-hmm. Really gets. I remember just being at that time when I first hear that, it gets you so hyped. Be like,
Yeah.
that's my dude right there. Yeah, that's right. Like
Yeah,
you
and
want
they
the guys
gave
you want the guys you like to everybody to like respect them, and
Sure.
it just makes you feel like I made the right choice by
Yeah.
backing
And he
this
gave him
guy.
back-to-back verses too, so he came right out
Yeah.
of the chorus too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It wasn't just like, oh, just drop a couple lines on this. It was like,
No.
he was.
No, he had a
involved
good
in
2
this.
minutes.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to skip ahead to when he goes, make me mad enough to touch something. I'm like, I
Shannon.
wish I was cool enough in a fight to be like, you got me mad enough to touch something. And I'm like, it's such an understated threat.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what are you touching? Like, what's happening? What's about,
Like,
like, are you
is it
touching
me?
me? Is there a weapon? What is getting touched? And I'm afraid, and I apologize. That's just, I don't know.
It's a can of ass whipping. Hey, I'll be kicking. You, son, you doing all the yapping, acting as if it can't happen. You frontin' got me mad enough to touch something. You want from Shallon, Allen, and ain't afraid to bust something. So what you want, nigga? You want, nigga? I got a 6-shooter and a horse named Trigger. It's real.
I can just listen to that whole.
So a real funny thing about this, you probably don't have. It's probably not on one of the cuts, but coming with, like he would say, I think the real line is coming with that old Hebrew. I always thought he was coming with that old Hebrew. All I was thinking about every single time. Not until recently. And I mean, like,
Way
really
too long.
recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was always like, man, what is he, like, is he talking about, like, the Old Testament? Like, is he getting biblical on us? Like, what do you mean old Hebrew?
I feel like if I'm thinking about it, like, I think I probably thought the same thing. And
Yeah.
maybe up until you just said it just
But
now.
yeah, he's
So
coming
I'm
with the
probably
old Hebrew, like
No,
the
the
40
old
ounce of
Hebrew.
Old English, the old Hebrew.
Yeah, I think I thought the same thing this entire time, to be honest with you. I
It
don't-
makes no sense. Why would he talk
'cause
about
when
Hebrew?
when you hear a thing you don't know, you
No.
just find the closest thing to it, and then
Yeah.
you just like,
You hear what
think,
you wanna
"All right,
hear."
That's probably not it, but you just go through the rest of your life thinking,
And it works.
Good.
I mean, he could be talking
Yeah.
about something. He could be going
Sure.
into some old Hebrew, like First
Sure.
Testament stuff.
Sure, why not? All right, so this is the much talked about Juicy. You said this was the first. This was the first single.
This was the first single.
This was the first single.
I
Yeah.
never thought it could happen, this rapping stuff. I was too used to packing gats and stuff. Now honeys play me close like butter play toast. From the Mississippi down to the East Coast. Condos in Queens, in dough for weeks. Sold out seats to hear Biggie Smalls speak. Living life without fear. Putting 5.
One of the best bass
Mm-hmm.
parts on the album, definitely. Like that, that you got to love that as a bass player. Just it's
Yep.
very funky, great beat. I mean, this is the story of Biggie. This is like, to me, the quintessential like, what do you.
Yeah, he's introducing himself, like what he's like, who he is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why this wasn't earlier on their album. But I mean,
And the
like you
fact
said,
that it took convincing, like it was after the album was done.
Yeah, did
and
he
then
have these lyrics though? I wonder if he had these lyrics
It's
and they were just looking for a
possible.
beat to put them on.
Yeah, I
Because,
mean, I don't know. That's as deep as I go. Is that I know that they said from what I read that Biggie had to be convinced by Puff Daddy to make this song, and he heard the beat
Yeah.
and he's like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
Because it really doesn't fit with the rest of the album. I mean, it really
Yeah.
doesn't, but
Yeah.
it doesn't mean it's bad.
Right. I'm trying to think of why doesn't, like, sometimes you don't know, like, just the sound just doesn't fit, but I guess it does because you know it, but it doesn't really because it's it's an oddball. But
It's-
at the same time classic.
Yeah, it's more of a party hit. I mean, even though it's
Right.
not about like it's probably the only song that's really not about the like party and guns and whatever else. It's the beat is.
I just remember once. It wasn't the first time I heard the song. I just remember one specific time listening to this song in my basement, shortly after it came out, just thinking specifically like, "Wow, this is a really great song." Like he really like. There's not a forced rhyme in it, even though some of the lines are ridiculous. He brings up rap the hall, like that, which was the. Who was that? John Wayne. Like he made a rap song. Like he references like the John Wayne rap song. Like he brings up like Nintendos and stuff like that. So some like silly things that you would think wouldn't fit in a rap song, but it just seems smooth and flawless and not forced at all.
Yeah, I mean the like Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis.
Yeah,
like that's just. And then he talks about like back in those days I never thought I would get to this or something like that.
Yeah. I couldn't picture this.
Picture this,
Yeah. Everyday struggle.
Got murdered in the town I never heard about. Some bitch named Alberta over nickel-plated burners. And my bitch, swear to God, she won't snitch. I told her when she hit the bricks, I make the hook.
I love that. Actually, those drums, those all kind of slightly offbeat drums and the whistle. Yeah.
Heavy snare.
Yeah, I love a heavy snare, man. That's all. That's all I want. This might be my least favorite song on the album. The next one, Me and My Bitch.
Yeah, definitely dead last.
Yeah.
A real slick bitch, keep a trick up her sleeve. And if I deceive, she won't take it lightly. She'll invite me politely to fight G. And then we lie together, ride together. I swear to God, I hope we fucking die together.
Funny enough, this was the Blues Brothers and Chucky Thompson. This should have just been deleted. Yeah. No, this was their one. This was. Oh yeah, this is them back at it again. Yeah.
I had to pull that clip because it was we lie together because I swear to God I hope we fucking die together because that was used in the Method Man song. That was in the I'll Be There For You. That was sampled there.
Yep.
Which I enjoy. Big Papa. Great.
No need to be greedy. I got mad friends with Benzes. See notes by the layers.
True
fucking players. Jump in the Rover and come over. Tell your friends jump in the GS3. I got the chronic by the tree. I love it when you call me Big Papa. Throw your hands in the air if you's a true player. I love it when you call me Big Papa. To the honeys getting money, playing niggas like dummies. I love it when you call me Big Papa.
Now, so this is Chucky Thompson again, but what's confusing is that I swear this is a Snoop Dogg beat. Like you hear this, that's a West Coast, Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, something's taken. Like that was tooken from one of them. Yeah. Without a doubt.
Well, it's not. I always refer to. I've never heard anybody refer to it as the West Coast whistle, but that's how I refer to it.
That's what West
it is.
Coast
whistle.
Yeah,
it's.
I mean, that's yours. That's trademarked, but you're 100% right.
Yeah, but that you hear that. That's just synonymous with West Coast.
Yep.
And I love it. Like that's my favorite part about West Coast rap music.
Absolutely love it. Yeah.
Like that literally is like if you use that, I'm into the song.
Yeah, I mean, I can just picture.
They sampled Snoop Dogg on this album earlier. I saw listening through one of the samples. It wasn't that, but there was a Snoop sample. Which, when you think about the beef from coast to coast, like that was, this was the heart of it. It was, Snoop couldn't have repped the West Coast more, and Biggie was at the heart of the East Coast. Like, so the fact that they threw that West Coast sound on here and sampled Snoop. Where did it all go wrong? Like they were on the right track.
Well,
like, there was
maybe that was kind of like a jab at them. Maybe they did it without permission, or they're kind of like, okay, we can do this too. I don't know
if the beef was alive then. I feel like the
94, maybe probably not. Yeah, probably
no.
Not.
It wasn't until that whatever it was Source Awards.
Source Awards, yeah. I was just gonna say not until the Source Awards.
It all fell apart, but just think about the collaborations. None of that happened. Collaborations that could have happened, and
Yeah, right as it was exploding too. Like it all happened later on. Like it happened in the mid 2000s. Yeah, right. By then, I mean nobody cares. I wanted to hear it in '95, like Method Man and Snoop on a track or something to that extent.
Yeah. And the one example we have of East Coast West Coast collaboration, well, not one. There is other ones. I mean, I think the Dog Pound and maybe I don't know somebody. But we played that. We did the Nas album where we had Dr. Dre, and it's a drunk example.
It's
like this is the example we have to. This is what So when you hear that, you go, maybe it was better that there was beef between the coasts. But
I mean, you hear this beat and you just think of Ice Cube hanging out a window on 2 wheels on like an old Cadillac.
Yeah.
That's what you just I can picture it every single time.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay. Then that was, where am I? It was Big Papa. This was for a while. This was one of my favorite songs in the album. It's not now, but I remember for a while I was big into this.
Then came the worst date, May 21st, 2019. That's when my mama water burst. No spouse in the house, so she rode herself to the hospital to see if she could get a little help. Umbilical cords wrapped around my neck. I'm seeing my death, and I ain't even took my first step. I made it out, I'm bringing mad joy. The doctor looked and said he's gonna be a bad boy.
That is such a good verse.
Yeah.
Just the way he tells that story and just the way you can visualize it. I mean, that's fantastic.
Yeah. Beat, it's like really just an interesting beat.
Just like almost
reggae,
like reggae guitar,
reggae vocal on it. Yeah. And then, let's see. A friend of mine also.
Catch the bus, and when I see the steam and I'm leaving, bitches be scheming, I kid you not. That's why I keep my windows locked and my Glock cock. One hoe said,
Big, why you so hard on us? Why you swear all bitches are so scandalous?
Thug nigga till the end, tell a friend, bitch. Cause when I like you, then you go and fuck my friend, bitch. You know that ain't right.
And you know that ain't right. Jeez. I think Sage Francis used that for that. You know that ain't right. At least he said something similar to that.
There's a lot of throwaways kind of here.
Harvey, Easy Mo D. Yeah, that's like that must have been one of Easy Mo D's leftovers from like his his old school time. Cause that's not one of my favorites either.
It's almost like a '70s disco type of vibe, like that.
Yeah, and also produced poorly. To me, it sounds poor. Like it sounds.
It's not well. It's not
like
arranged well.
Exactly, that's the word.
Yeah.
Arranged. Yeah.
Yeah.
God, that must be so hard to arrangement. A$AP Rock always talks about the guy he uses to arrange his things, and people always to me it always sounds so perfect. And there's people that I was online who will criticize his last album, like, there's too much, too many highs, not enough lows, or vice versa, or whatever. And I was like, to me it sounds perfect, but just to take those elements and make sure that everything comes through, it's hard. That's hard work. Yeah. I think it's underestimated. I
barely sync the audio on this goddamn thing.
Yeah, right? You really gotta imagine throwing a beat behind it. Never in a million years.
No shot.
Okay, that was a friend of mine. So we got Unbelievable.
Now this is the DJ Premier, and you know it's DJ Premier.
Classic beat. I mean,
it's Guru. You need to hear Guru's voice on this.
Yeah, exactly.
They too near not to hear me clearly. I'm the triple beam dream. 1,000 grams of uncut to the gut. It seems fucked up the way I touched up the grill, trying to play gorilla when you ain't no killer. The gets by your liver, your upper lip.
Your upper lip quiver. I cut that off too soon. Your upper lip quiver. Yeah, so it's a great beat, especially on the heels of Friend of Mine. It's a good beat. It's just very.
I swear,
primo.
I swear he used that before. That bump a bump. He uses that.
Yeah,
he's used
on
that
a Gangstar
before.
song.
On a Gangstar song, and I don't remember. I know the song. Yeah. I'm gonna find it after this, but. It was. I know he's used that before, and then maybe he used this originally because it's very possible. It's very possible that Gangstar song was after this. So I don't know.
Right. And then this song, I don't know what it was. I didn't hear this. I don't think I made it for whatever reason. Like sometimes you listen to an album so often, but then you get to the end and you get pulled away from it. And you don't actually ever finish the album. I think that must have happened for years because I don't remember hearing this song. Until I've said this on other albums too. I guess I must be impatient. I don't let albums play through. But
no.
I don't remember hearing the song until years later, and I'm like, holy shit, this is a great song.
Yeah, I mean, and the fact like he kills himself at the end of the song, like you're talking about him being born, and then he kills himself on the
what the fuck is wrong with you? When I die, fuck it, I wanna go to hell. Cause I'm a piece of shit, it ain't hard to fucking tell. It don't make sense going to heaven with the goody goodies dressed in white. I like black Timbs and black hoodies. Gotta probably have me on some real strict shit. No sleeping all day, no getting my dick lit. Hanging with the goody goodies, lounging in paradise. Fuck that shit. I wanna tote guns and shoot dice. All my life I've been considered as the worst. Lying to my mother, even stealing out a purse. Crime after crime, from drugs to extortion. I know my mother wish she got a fucking abortion.
It's rough, yeah. That's some
Pretty
real, that's
heavy.
some real stuff on the album. That's like the
Yeah.
realest they got. I mean, you know. I love that he thinks some real strict shit is not letting him sleep all day and not letting him get his dick sucked. I'm like, that is not strict at all. That is, I mean, that's. I understand you like those things. You'd like to have
Yeah.
access to them, but strict, you're gonna, you know, it's gonna go a lot worse than that. I feel like if on the way you're headed. Yeah. That was so. That was the album as it was released, right?
Yeah, that's how it ended.
Ended there.
Yeah.
Then Who Shot Ya and Just Playing
Yeah.
were on the album on the remastered ones.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're worth playing. I mean, I like Who Shot Ya is, you know,
It's okay.
classic beat.
Yeah.
But I do want to play two other songs. So right after that, the Junior Mafia came out, and there was two songs on the album that were like essentially Biggie songs. And I'm definitely not gonna. We're definitely not gonna do a episode on the Junior Mafia album Conspiracy.
0%
But
chance of that.
I do feel like I want to play the two songs. Was he? I don't think he was in the Junior Mafia. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But I feel like in the picture,
I always thought he was, but like maybe he was in the Junior Mafia, but it was
yeah,
like they just kind of added him in there for cred. Like I don't.
right. Because he wasn't on a lot of. I don't think he was on all the songs, but he like the songs he was on.
Yeah, I honestly
'Cause
have no
he
clue. I
was
haven't
on-
listened to
he
that
wa-
album ever.
He was on with Little Kim, but like to me, this reminds me of
Yeah.
like this. It reminds me of the Biggie album more than it reminds me of. Cause it
Well,
was
you
like
hear
all
this, like if you just play this, like you think it's. I think it's a Biggie song. I don't think it's a Junior Mafia song.
100%. Which I always think, and I actually
Always,
just heard the
yeah.
song like out. Well, I'm like, oh, I love this song, and then it hit me like, oh wait a minute, this is a
You wanna sit more on my living room floor, play Nintendo with Seasonino. Pick up my phone, say Papa not home, sex all night, mad head in the moon.
I mean, it's it's
Big
I
Nintendo
love the
guy.
song. I wish it was and then Player's Anthem, same
Mm-hmm.
So this has more Junior Mafia. He kind of did the chorus, and then he did a verse on this.
Snatching ropes at the Roxy, homeboy. You didn't know my flow. Detrimental to your health. Usually roll for self. I have son riding shotgun. My mind's my 9, my pen's my Mac 10. My target, all you whack niggas who started rapping. Junior.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I just feel like those deserve some attention. Those songs, they're really, to me, great Biggie songs with other people on them.
Yeah, and I think they're definitely more feel of the Life After Death album. I think they certainly have that feel a little bit more.
Yeah, a little
than
more
this- than, Ready
more
to Die.
jiggy, more to the jiggy.
Yeah, he
part of it.
at that point in time he had the money.
It was
at this
only,
point in
it was
time,
only
he
a
didn't.
year later, and
Yeah.
he was definitely
He had the money
thrown
at
into
that
this.
point.
Yeah, I mean, this was definitely getting his friends money by
Yep.
being like, "Oh, you guys want to rap too? Yeah, I'll be like,
Yeah.
And then people pay. I mean, I fell for it. It's not a great album, but I bought it because these tracks were on it. So, that was it. That was that's Ready to Die.
Yeah, good one.
And yeah, I
Yeah,
enjoyed
that's
that. I enjoyed
I
that.
was saying earlier, this is the first one I haven't really listened to since I mean, I listened to the Method Man song. Outside of that, I hadn't listened to this album in a long time. So,
Yeah, it's been a while for me too.
Yeah, meanwhile, everything
couple of
else I
songs here
kinda
and there,
listen
you
to.
hear like if you hear them, it's not this is definitely the most, to me, the most commercially successful album we've done so far. Mm-hmm. Even like the Nas and the Method Man albums, like they
Yeah.
were big, but nothing hit this. And I have a little bit of a hesitancy to jump into this because I don't have that personal attachment to it because it was so big. Like I definitely am a fault of mine is I like more niche, small batch music with a smaller, because I
Yeah.
feel more of a personal connection to it. Not because nobody likes it, but I feel like, well, I would rather spend my time with this music that isn't so popular. Like I only have so much time to listen to music. I feel like I'd rather spend it with people that I have more of a personal connection with too, and I end up having more of a personal connection with people who aren't as critically acclaimed. As,
and I think for me, at least, I mean, this album came out the same year as Jizz's album, and I have far more personal connection to Jizz's album than I do this. And I mean, Jizz's album is just an all-time great for me, and that's another one where you play this first song, and it just sets the mood. We've talked about that for every album, pretty much, except for this, and I mean, High and Mighty, sure, but I mean, you hit play, and it's you're set. Yeah, you're just set for the album.
No, that Jizz album, to me is it's one of my all-time favorites. I think that's what we should do
it's
next
a
week.
masterpiece. It's a masterpiece.
I was thinking about what album because hopefully we'll be doing the next podcast for anybody who cares in person. Which will
together.
Will be some interesting hurdles to get over.
Very.
Do you have a way? This is a production. You can stop listening now. Anybody can stop listening. Now. We're done talking about the album, but we're going to talk about production. Do you have a way to record music into the recording for us to listen to at the same time?
If I do, I don't have a second mic input.
Right. I was wondering if I should just bring my board with me, because I'm driving. Like the thing I love about driving is I could just throw as much junk in my car.
I would take
my camera bags.
Yeah, and
I could just throw that. I could just throw that in there
without me having to go buy one. Yeah, I would say bring it with you.
All right. Yeah. I mean, we could also just like play it in the room, and like sometimes that picks it up pretty well. You know, like it's pretty decent. Like when you play music, like what did I? You ever hear this? You ever hear Freddie Gibbs? I just listened to it. He's pretty good. There's a lot of nonsense, but he's more of a throwback than. That doesn't sound as good to the phone. But anyway, it would be an option.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll bring that. We'll be good to go. And then I didn't get my mirrorless camera, which I wanted to get, but I wanted to have that for the trip, and nobody's got it.
That sucks.
Yeah, I'll get it. Maybe I'll pass by a Best Buy in the way that has one.
Well, you're gonna pass by B&H. You might as well just pick one up on your way here.
Yeah, closed. I plan on leaving Saturday morning. That closed Saturday for the Sabbath. They close every Saturday.
Oh, that's right. And I was gonna say Adorama too. They're both. That sucks.
Already thought about it. I think, oh sweet, I'll go right through the city. I'll hit B&H, pick up whatever I need. Nope, not even that.
No, when did they open up? 5 p.m. on Saturday or something?
No, I think it might be closed all day Saturday.
I think their online store opens back up or something like that.
And then I was going to do that. I had some time to do it last week or whatever, but they were closed for Passover all week. They were closed.
They were closed the whole week.
Accepting online
through the 5th.
I was going to place an order online, but they weren't even taking. They don't even take orders online and ship them out. These people are nuts. Religious.
It is crazy. Like, and the fact that I don't know if the same owners own both, it would be a little weird. But the fact that
I didn't know Adorama was Hasidic owned.
Yeah, they just happened to both be Hasidic.
No, what happened was whoever opened up Adorama was involved with B&H, and they got annoyed and they started their own business. Exactly. That's what happened. They were like, I can do this too, and they started a competitor.
Yeah, and they're both huge. I mean, huge.
But Adorama must be all online though, right?
Is
they
it?
They don't have a brick and mortar, do they? Adorama?
I thought they did. Maybe
not.
I don't know. I thought they were.
I've
like right down the road.
I've never. Oh, maybe. Yeah, I've been to B&H. I've never been in
Interesting. I thought Adorama was right down the road. Maybe I'm just.
Maybe.
I could completely be making that up.
I don't know. All right, fun tech talk. That's right. We're gonna start another podcast about tech, and then another one. We should do a podcast a day. Yeah, right. We can't get together once a week to do it. All right.
Daily podcast.
All right. Well. This was a good one. I enjoyed this one. And we will get it posted ASAP. Rocky.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good night.
All righty.
We'll see you in a few days.
You a tough ass geezer. Give you props for that.